Hey y'all, it's Jotana from the Wildflowers Creative Team. I'm so excited to be teaching you this fun fall gnome. This is going to be super easy in the salon. Let's get into it. Okay guys, for this lesson, we're going to be using navy uniform. We're going to be using Pacific from the Chill Micro Luxe glitter. We're going to be using number 4, brown ink. Number 8, like a dark jade green ink. We're going to be using Sophistication, which is one of our gel polish colors. Clear puffy gel. We're going to be using some matte top coat. I'm going to be using the magenta brush, which is a detail brush. And I'm also going to be using the green vegan brush, which is a brush we typically use for blending, but I'm going to paint some larger surface area with it. And if you want to see what we are doing with the other nails that have been created, just really quickly, I have used cowboy boots with Autumn from the Spice Micro Luxe collection. All right, the other nails have Rosewood, which is like a yummy mauve. It's one of my favorites, with raspberry. That's also from the Spice Micro Luxe glitter collection. And then we are using Buttercup, which is one of our newer gel polish colors, with Gold 2 from the Riches Micro Luxe collection. The first thing I want to do is go ahead and show you guys how to create this really beautiful matte shiny background. We've got it on all 4 of our nails with all of the colors mentioned in what we used today. I'm going to go ahead and jump right in. I'm going to do it on a tip, but we're going to paint on this, and I've already got it prepared. So going in with that navy uniform, I'm going to do a nice thin coat. A lot of our gel polishes are super pigmented. You want to be careful in thinking that you can do one coat. Some of them you can, all right? But you want to keep your coats relatively thin and even for proper cure. All right, that's one coat. I don't think it's too thick. This is the navy uniform. I'm gonna pop that in an LED light for 30 seconds. The next thing I wanna do, or you would want to do in this situation, is pick a glitter that matches the color that you're using up underneath. Now, if you have a light color and you use a dark glitter, then you have to know that it's going to look speckled. If you want it to kind of blend in, it's important that you pick something that's similar. So like here with the cowboy boots, we pick something similar. It's a little bit darker, so it does look speckled. It's much easier with darker colors to pick a glitter that is going to almost camouflage in, but be super like blingy, okay? So for that, that's the reason I picked Pacific. You can go with hollow. These are not holographic. We have another 3-set collection, and they're very similar, except for they're super, super hollow. So it just depends on how you want them to shine and sparkle. I wanted it to be more of a subtle look, so I didn't go with the hollow. After your coats of color are complete, you're gonna come in with your matte top coat, and I'm just gonna give it a normal coat. Now, do not cure this into the wet layer. I like to take a little bit into my cap here. Oh, that's a little bit a lot. And you want to make sure when you're applying this glitter that you do it from very far away. So I've got about half a foot, well, yeah, about 6 inches of distance between my fingers here and my nail here. All right, so I'm going to come in and I'm going to get a little pinch, and I'm going to sprinkle from about 6 inches away, so that everything falls smoothly. I kind of do this little rubbing my fingers together really quickly. I'll show you what this looks like when you are not far away and don't make sure that it's even, like down here, is you kind of get like these little lumps. See, we've got one here. It's totally fine, but it does change your look just a little bit. You can see that right there. So, you know, play with it. I like a lot of glitter. So you could stop here and cure this, or you can come back and sprinkle some more glitter. I think it looks pretty good. I'm gonna pop this in an LED light for 30 seconds. Cleaning up my glitter. Glitter on a silicone mat is a pain in the butt. This is our final look. The first thing that we want to do to create the nose of our gnome is to grab our clear puffy gel. And we're gonna go in with our magenta brush and just get a little scoop of that. I like to let this self-level just a tad bit, and it has a little bit of self-leveling properties. It will hold its dimension when placed on a nail, but it will settle slightly. So I'm gonna decide where I want the nose. I think I'm gonna put it right here. And honestly, like, this is already kind of in the shape of a nose, so it's perfect. I'm gonna lay that down. And you can see where the surface area of the gel touches, right? That's what I want to pay most attention to when I lay this down. All right, so it's touching over here. Let me make this nose a little bigger. Let me touch it over here. You can do this nose however big or small you want. All right, and then I'm just gonna kind of loop it around the top to gain some height on that. Working super carefully. And I'm gonna check it out from the side. I like it. If I want it to be pointier, excuse me, you can hang this upside down and just let it droop. All right, I think it looks good. I like a big nose. I have a big nose a little bit. All right, that's gonna go in the light for 30 seconds. Then what we wanna do is pull out and decide on a skin tone. I'm just gonna go with warm beige here, but I am gonna mix it with that sophistication. I tried to do like different skin tones on my gnomes, and when you're working with the Wildflowers painting gels, they were created to be pressed really thin. We want to make sure that as we're painting with them, if they're not pressed perfectly thin, we can still get a good cure. So I'm gonna cut it with a gel polish. Now you can do this with top coat if you'd like. If you do this with a no wipe top coat, so our Wildflowers top coat gel, 50-50 mix, you can actually paint this on top of a mat and it will stay shiny and it will stay adhered. It will not need a second top coat, which is really, really cool. But I picked sophistication because it had a little bit of a darker tone. I'm gonna go with 50-50 here. I'm just kind of guesstimating. The darker tone, we know that the color is gonna change slightly, and so I picked the darker tone to get a little bit of a darker skin color. Going in with my fidget stylus that I didn't mention in the beginning, but it's just kind of a really cool mixing tool we have here at Wildflowers. I also really like it for spider gel, side note, because it doesn't have that ball on the end that a lot of dotting tools have, and I feel like the spider gel gets like trapped in that ball. All right, so I think this is a really nice brown skin tone that we've created. We've got some red undertones in it. I think it's really cool. Our other guy that has a brown has not so red undertones, so it's kind of nice. Switch it up a little bit. All right, this is the reason I love a silicone mat. Watch this. I can press and apply pressure and just clean off my tool. And I don't leave any product behind. Clear puffy gel does cure tact-free. Our other colored puffy gels do not. They do have an inhibition layer. This one doesn't. And I'm just gonna start this process of painting his face. I found that I needed 2 coats with this. So I'm still keeping everything pretty thin because I know I'm gonna have to go back. Make sure that you're flipping him around to get in his nose crevices. I don't worry too much about how this ends because he will be getting a hat. And I don't want to take it up so high that I feel the need to like create eyes, right? Because this is just something like easy to do in the salon. We are not painting a gnome portrait here. All right, that's gonna go in the light for 30 seconds. We're gonna get that second coat on there. Now for the hat, I'm gonna go in with Antique Rose, which is one of our painting gels. I really think that the contrast between the Antique Rose and the navy blue are gonna be very beautiful. I'm gonna mix this time with matte top coat, which is a little bit new. It's something I've been like experimenting with. The reason why I'm mixing it with matte top coat outside of cutting some of that pigment is because I'm going to be using inks on top, all right? And I was looking for like not a sticky and not a shiny surface. So mixing these two together actually give me this like nice satin finish. And it allows for a surface that provides resistance when I'm working with the ink. So if it were shiny, if you work with inks on top of a shiny surface, they tend to like run and you like find yourself catching them and it's kind of slippery, especially if you're manipulating the ink afterwards with a brush. But if you do inks on like a sticky surface, then it also provides a different result and it feels different in your hand with your brush. So I like to work on top of a mat. That's what we recommend here at Wildflowers. So what I want to do at this point is go in and start to create the shape of the hat. If you'll notice, and I'll pull some of these down, that we've got some different shapes going on. And they're pretty simple for the most part. I mean, we've shaded and highlighted. If you want more instruction on that, make sure that you are watching Ashton's videos within the subscription because she goes into detail and she's a master. Okay, she's a master at it. We're going to be adding some fun fall pattern to this with inks. All right, so what I want to do is kind of decide, let's see, the eyes would probably go here. Definitely want to cover those. I don't want this to be a straight across. All right. I'm kind of loading up and using this as my palette. So, do I want my hat to be big? I think I do, and I think I want it to come way up here, and it's gonna kind of come down, and then I need to leave space for the head, because remember the top of the head is here, so if it comes down too narrow, it's gonna get weird. All right. I just want to fill this in, because where I applied all of that painting gel, it is too thick. All right, we do want to spread that out, but remember we're using that as our palette. That's where we're kind of pulling from. Always check the sides. Turn your nail to the side and see what it looks like over here. This is where your clients are watching. This is what they do when they look at their nails. They turn their hands to the side. Just gonna pull this all the way up. right, so pulling her out of the light after 30 seconds, I've got this nice satin finish. It's not shiny, it's not matte, but it's gonna be perfect for the inks. Before I go over this with the inks, I did add a little bit of black painting gel to my palette here. I want to go in and lightly kind of like define this hat. You want to be really careful with this. I want you to notice here, all right? It's so lightly defined that like right here, there isn't anything. It's okay. I would rather you have spaces that didn't get hit than have things that are super thick, because then it's gonna look kind of cartoony, which it is. It's kind of cartoony anyway, but you want to keep your lines really thin. So I'm gonna load my brush and just pull out and twist as I'm pulling out to keep a nice thin load on this brush. Excuse me. And I just want to define some spaces. So right in here, holding my brush pretty like perpendicular. All right, just a nice little thin outline. All right, same thing on this side. Doesn't take much. Oh, see, I got a little thick there. It's okay, I'm gonna use that to my advantage. I'm going to bring this down and around. And just some spaces that would have little creases in the hat where it's folding over. All right, so we have a hat, like the brim of the hat here. All right, we're going to continue this over here. Just adding a few little details to kind of give direction and dimension to the hat that we're creating. All right, now it's got some little folds in it. We're going to get that bottom line done. Super thin. All right, and it's all done. I'm gonna pop that in for 30 seconds. All right, so now it's time to come in with our ink. We have chosen pink. I'm sorry, we've chosen green, which is the opposite of pink. So I really think it's gonna like be a pop here. What you wanna do is you wanna make sure that your brush is, don't spill it, don't be like Joe. Make sure that your brush is not saturated, meaning we want to kind of squeegee all of the excess off of this brush because our inks will run. All right, alcohol inks are air dried. They do not need to be cured. It's not a gel product. They are super pigmented and they will stain if you spill them. Okay, all right, so I'm gonna be coming in with some plaid. So basically what we're going to do is just a simple crisscross. All right, and I'm going to the brim all the way up the nail. Oops, sorry, I was a little out of frame. All the way up the nail. I'm going to keep the brim of the hat like open for now because I may have them like go in a different direction. So that it separates the areas. Maybe that's folded up and rolled up. All right, so same thing with our brown. I'm gonna come in and I don't wanna cover this green, but I wanna kinda come right beside it. And this is where like our folly look is coming into this, okay? Maybe there's some over here too. If you have a little mess up, the best thing that I have found are our applicators for cleanup. So because it is not a gel cured product, oh no, do not fall off. I can just come in and with a little bit of alcohol, Sometimes you don't need the alcohol. You just have to see. Like, it wouldn't come off for me, so I had to get a little bit of alcohol. And I can remove that. If it's that important, honestly, if I were working on a client, I would have left it. All right, so now, coming in with, let's do the green. So we've got the brown. We're gonna come in with this green. Wiping all the excess off on the bottleneck, and we're gonna come in the opposite direction. All right, and you can see where the green crosses. It's made the green darker. You can go back in and add some, make it darker there if you'd like to, just to add some dimension to this. I really like to see lights and darks all living together. I think that's super cute. I'd wear that plaid. Definitely would wear that plaid. Gonna leave the brown alone. I like what it's done. I like the job that it's done without adding a second line of the brown. I'm gonna allow that to air dry, and then we're gonna go in with a Wildflowers top coat gel. And you can put this on a palette and use a brush, or if you're brave like me, you can come in and use the brush out of the bottle. What I'm focusing on when I work out of the bottle, because this is such a big brush, is only this side that's touching the outlines of whatever I'm creating or top coating. So I'm not really worried about what's happening over here. Just paying attention and making sure that I line up the outside of that with the perimeter of what I'm top coating. And then to get up in this area, I'm just going to turn my brush on its side. All right, check my line of light. I think it looks pretty good. I don't see any like bald areas. All right, I'm gonna pop that in for 30 seconds. I love the contrast between the matte background and the shiny hat. And I think after this cures, I'm gonna go in and matte the face too. And we may add a little bit of clear acrylic to be fun. Give it a little texture. All right, I've decided against the clear acrylic. I don't know that I really want the face to be fuzzy, but now I'm gonna go in with the matte top coat. I don't want to take away the texture of the nose. So basically what I'm saying is do not allow your product to puddle. I just did it so you guys could see. Do you see how it puddled and kind of filled in the gap? You want to kind of like dry brush this. So that you don't get like dry brushy streaks, I would definitely suggest getting it on where you want it. And then you can come back and kind of remove whatever. And again, I'm just focusing on where the brush is touching the edge of where I'm trying to like line up the product. I'll swipe this way. Removing some of that texture. Perfect. I think it looks good. I'm gonna check my line of light. Yep. And that's gonna go in the light for 30 seconds. And that's a wrap. I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial today. Can't wait to see what you guys create with this.
We at Wildflowers would love to invite you to join us in person for Master Artist Week. It's 8 intensive nail workshop classes packed into a fun week sprinkled with all sorts of nail shenanigans. Come and take that next step. We would love to have you.